This is professional radio, gentlemen.
And it's front-wheel drive.
Scotty, have you got anyone you want to thank?
Just myself.
And now we do the after hours. Dun, dun, dun.
Gentlemen, what would you go for?
Dacia Sandero.
Okay, and because it's not a supercar.
But it is.
It's not.
Automotive perfection comes in the form of two letters, A and U.
Long live my LTD.
Welcome to Car Talk. It's Tuesday night here at 90.9 Northwest FM. It's me, Matty J, online with Mr. David Prince, Mr. Scotty Doe Johnson, Mr. Jim Barlow, and in studio with Chad DeBell. How you guys going?
Doing well, thanks.
Very good.
Good, thank you very much.
Good to see you guys. We've also been joined by a very, very special guest for the show tonight. I want to read you a bit of a CV, and then we'll introduce the man himself. So 28 rallies, 9 rally wins, over 70 stage wins, Australian Rally Champion 1990, 1995 Australia Trail winner. It's around Australia Trail winner, Mitsubishi driver, Hyundai i20 Hypermiler, professional gentleman, and most importantly of all, Year 5 primary school teacher at Mission Primary School. Please welcome Mr. Ed Ordynski, gentlemen.
Very
well. Thank you for holding the best until last.
the most important one.
It's good to be along. Thank you for having me. From meeting you all at Magna 40, finally getting here to the studio to say hello properly. I'm looking forward to it.
Mate, it's an absolute honor to have you here. I think we've all been bloody excited to have you on. It's been a long-winded process to get you here. We had a false start a little while ago. Completely my fault of my own illness, but good to have you in studio. You've come all this way just to be, well, obviously for a few things, but you've come to see us on the podcast, and absolute honor to have you here, mate.
Thank you.
So hello to all our live listeners as well. Big show tonight. Lots to talk about, but look, obviously we've got a very special guest, Ed Ordynski, in here, and he also said to us specifically that he wanted us to continue with our typical show of our car updates. Because he's got a car update of his own, which we'll get, which we will get to. But he did say, like, because normally when we have a special guest on, as you guys know, we get into them and a little bit about them. But we'll get into your car updates very shortly, Ed.
I didn't want to be left out, and I love the format of the show, so I'm kind of been listening to quite a few, so I'd be very confused and discombobulated if it suddenly went off track.
No, I've got to keep the format.
Keep the format. It's structure. I typed this program.
We love structure.
I typed the program into AI, right? And it's I was like, tell us about this podcast, and it says, well, it's an Australian podcast from Melbourne. It does the following things: car updates. That's the first thing it says. That it has a topic, then the quiz at the end, and I'm like, so even AI knows that's what we do. So Ed, you're not alone.
Okay.
You're obviously very much more smarter than AI. You're a teacher. You're one of us. Scotty, teacher. Jim, ES works in a school. Yeah,
David and I are outnumbered here.
Students versus teachers.
I think David can count as being part of the crew with Kath. I think so.
Yes. So it's just me.
It's just So no, look.
My life goes by week of the term as well. Don't get. Week 4, week 3.
This is week 5.
Week 5. Oh God.
Week 5.
Week 5. Don't.
My kids are in exams in 2 weeks, and they've been absolutely killing me today. Today was one of the days where Ed and I were talking in the car on the way in. You need to like what you do. Today wasn't one of those days, Ed. Like I had a real difficult day, but no, look, tomorrow's always a better day. Let's get on with some car updates. I love this section of the show. David Prince, updates with you. We'll start on your end.
I got my son's VF Calais wagon, got that sorted the other day. The tailgate has been playing up, and when you've got a baby and a station wagon and lots of stuff to carry around, it doesn't do to be climbing into the luggage compartment through the driver's side rear door and releasing the...
Not ideal.
tailgate with a screwdriver. So that was a relatively easy fix because a few people have had a go, and I finally took it to a panel beater guy, friend of the show, who has got a beautiful Hilux. It's been at Classic Japan a few times.
Mm.
Hi to Paul if you're listening from Build Panel Works. So yeah, he got it sorted in a day and a new lock and done. So
Perfect.
my son's in love with the car again, which is good. I swapped him. I took that back and brought home my 94 Accord VTIS. It's now done 485,000 Ks, I think.
Jeez.
It's a low miler.
Just purrs along. Just came down the freeway like a dream. It's such a cool car.
I saw you did that. Paradreams.
Paradreams, that's right. Good work. I've been on a steep learning curve trying to understand the operating system that the Hyundai brand runs to. Chad, I should have rung you, shouldn't I? You can probably help me out with a few.
I could have potentially.
Yeah. It's just like a different operating system to Honda's, that's for sure.
So I don't know if you've listened to the latest one, Chad, because you went on.
Oh no, I missed it. Yeah.
But David and his wife bought a brand new Tucson.
Wow, there you go.
So
that is exciting.
It is exciting.
Yes. Kath's car. Not my car.
Oh, right. You're not claiming it. Okay, I see.
See, the H is the wrong way around for David. That's
Yeah.
It's like it's been left out in the sun a bit long and sort of
melted.
Yeah.
On its side.
Sideways.
Yeah. Still an H badge. So yeah, it's so many little things that are just different, and it's just a matter of getting used to a different way of operating it. And one thing it doesn't have, which I didn't realize we'd miss as much, is the walk-away locking. So the Hondas, as you away from them,
no such thing in the Hyundai world.
No, that's not a thing, evidently. But I do have an app now, and it tells me if it's not locked. If we're nowhere near the car, it'll.
Oh, so you've got Blue Link.
Yeah, so Blue Link tells you if the car's
You don't have
locked.
Blue Link.
I don't have Blue Link.
Jeez, you must have been just before it.
My car was the first version of it in Australia, and then the facelift had Blue Link.
Got you.
It was kind of around the time where they were bringing out Blue Link, but I think that car was the infrastructure was already in the old sort of style. It's still
fine.
Pretty, recent, but it doesn't have Blue Link. Yeah.
Well, that sounds a bit like the ZRV that we still have that's going to our kids. It was one of the first cars with Honda Connect. And so I downloaded the app, and that was all great. It wasn't great the early in car.
No, I don't think it's gotten much better, to be fair, David Prince.
Okay.
It's yeah.
Oh, so have you tested with your mum's
car?
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think
my wife's HRV has that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it does from what I can sort of.
Interesting.
So I haven't experienced that on, what's it called? Honda Connect?
Honda Connect,
yeah. I went into the guy I know in the service department. I do work in the service department there as well. And I said, now, Honda Connect. And he just put his head in his hands and just okay,
it's not a good sign.
We won't worry about that. Okay. This is 3.5 years ago now. But actually, speaking of the dealership, I did a job in there the other day, and by total and utter coincidence, I happened to bump into the CEO and the manager of brand for Honda Australia at the dealership with the Honda Super One out on the road with a number plate that could be a personalised number plate for me if I wanted it. But the number plate.
Did you see it?
I didn't see the number plate.
Yeah, DVD 121. The number plate is.
No way. That's unreal.
It's ridiculous.
And so I completely Bradbury'd my way into a drive of the Super One before it's even been released.
That's super cool.
It's just such a cracker of a little car. You've got no idea. When they announced that it was going to have a mechanized engine sound, you think, oh, that's going to be, pretty twee, but it's actually really good in sport mode with the paddle shift and stuff like that. So really interesting little car. And I think if it's marketed well, it will do very well for Honda. So that was exciting. And seeing we've got this fabulous forum of the podcast, I would like to dispel rumors. Someone quite rudely commented on my Instagram that because I said what a coincidence it was to, come across this. They inferred that it wasn't a coincidence and that I was in fact stalking the car and that I needed to have an intervention order put out against me. So there's no truth in that rumor whatsoever.
He's debunking, but we all know that's not the truth.
Yeah. So no truth in that rumor at all. It was the funniest thing because I hadn't been into that dealership for probably 2 months to do a job, and just the very day I happened upon it was it was a good day. Good day.
Very good, David Prince.
Awesome.
Yes. So I think that's enough for me for this week. That's we'll move on to next week now.
Scotty.
Me, I guess my cars in general, nothing. I haven't really touched them. They're just sitting there and getting rained on and dirtied. So sorry, Jim, they have not been washed.
I'm going to start rocking it foot backwards and forwards.
It was on Saturday. I was like, no, because I already knew it was going to rain the next day. So I didn't want to do that to myself. Did finally sell the Insight though. Honda Insight is gone. So that was good. Guy came out with his friend that's been a mechanic for, I know he said like 18 years or something like that, whatever. They had their little OBD2 scanner and stuff and hooked that up, and as I knew, there was no errors, there was nothing wrong, no dramas.
Little did they know Scotty cleared the codes about 2 seconds before they got there.
Engine's nice and warm.
Yeah.
It was funny, there was already like some codes on there. And he goes, "Oh, did you know it's got some codes?" I'm like, "I don't know, it's my car. It's my wife's car. And I don't service it. It goes to Honda and gets serviced." He goes, "Oh, I'll just delete them and I'll start the car again." I was like, "Whatever, floats your boat, go for it." Does that, starts it up, boom, there's no codes at all. It's all good. So, what I tell you, mate, what I tell you.
Yeah.
So, sold that one without roadworthy. They seem to have some kind of business where they buy some cars and put them into their company's name and then get roadworthy and sell them off or something. So that's fine. That makes it easy for me. And on that exact same day, boom, transferred money and off it goes. Gone.
Very good.
So that was good. I didn't have to wait around or, grab a deposit and then wondering if they're going to come back. So
Yep.
I had a couple of others that were interested as well. I had another odd one that I think I probably would have blocked the person. Just the questions and the way it was written was just not entirely enticing to kind of give them my address on where I lived. just the way he kind of said all of a sudden. Well, for starters, there's the one that you saw. He sent it at 2 a.m.
Yeah, he was really keen at that time of the night to buy a car,
and then replied again to the same message at like 2:15 a.m. and then at 2:30 a.m. puts in a question mark. It's like, mate, I'm asleep. Like,
who's looking at cars at that time? They just books the bite.
I don't know. Like, I'll get to it in the morning. So I was like, I'll just reply and go, "Mate, I'm asleep." And then I just replied, yeah, it's it's available, but I got a guy looking at it, and then he's like, anything wrong with it? They all ask that same question. Anything wrong with it?
Love that question.
It's a great question.
I know. Like I'm trustworthy all of a sudden, which I am, but you can't trust everybody,
Yeah.
So yeah, I just said, no, I mean, drive's fine. I still use it occasionally just to quickly zip around if I need to. It's a great car. It's been handy. Doesn't break down. Kept on going. Been awesome. And then I had the other guy out. He's having a look at the car and he sends me a message and goes, "I live in Sunbury too. I come now." I was like, "What do you mean? Like all of a sudden you live in my area all of a sudden from nowhere. It's like you want to come and get it now." Like, I'm just like, no.
Fair, cool.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it just didn't. I don't know, you kind of get those feelings. You're like,
Yeah.
And the other guy bought it anyway, so I just said, "No, sorry, I've just sold it to the other guy that got in first," and that was it. Didn't hear back from him.
Okay.
Probably gave me 1 star, like Ed.
Yeah.
Yes,
Poor Ed copying 1
from
star.
last week. Yeah, he got the 1 star. So
It makes a massive difference to your marketplace rating.
Yeah.
That. If you've only had a few listings or whatever, and you get 1 star, and like, oh god, it's
hard to
really
get back.
and you can't even dispute it. Like,
Yeah.
some people just do it as like a vengeful thing to do.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck with it. You're like, you know.
Yeah.
So last week on the show, like I think you listened to last week's episode, Ed, but Ed Bunting was saying, the guy was inquiring about a car, and he's like, yeah, look, I've got someone to come look at it, but if it doesn't sell, you're more than welcome. And basically, he's like, sorry, mate, sold the car. He's like, okay, and just gave him a 1-star review, and Ed's like, I answered all your questions. Why you give me 1-star? His response was ha 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 ha.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And so it's just the type of people you get. It's the caliber of people you get on the internet, Ed Ordynski and
specifically,
Marketplace. Yeah. So
Mhm.
so that's you, Mr. Scotty Doe.
Pretty much. That's me wrapped up in a nutshell.
Very good, Jim Barlow.
So in terms of car updates, I guess first one was that for a while my brother had been wanting to go for a passenger princess ride in the Magna, and so on the weekend we were going to go to IKEA and then watch Devil Wears Prada 2, so that meant like a 3-hour trip. So because, of course, he had spent a long time driving my grandfather's KJ Verada, he was very impressed. Especially when I put my foot down. And speaking of, it was quite funny trying to pull onto the highway and having no traction in second. That was quite funny compared to the Civic, which never has that problem. So that was quite good. Although I did joke, I think, on the way there that, yep, definitely a Magna because I had to get petrol. But the other good news is that the Accord Euro got registered today.
Hey,
so that's good.
I want to have a drive of that, Jim. I haven't. I don't think I think I might have. I've been in many manual Accord Euros, but never driven one. So
Okay.
I'd like to have a drive one.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because originally I thought, it hasn't had that much done to it. And I've realised, well, it's had 4 new tyres, all new brakes, knock sensor, power steering pump, lower control arm bushes, windscreen. So it's had a fair bit. And then I feel as though there's just something not quite kosher either. So I'll get that looked into at some point. But the next car on the list is definitely the ES Civic, so that I can get that out the way and get some money. I was playing what I'm going to call the driveway tango to get all the cars into the driveway tonight. And then once that's gone, then I can put some more money into the car that still won't be named by me just yet. And yeah, should be good.
Voldemort of cars.
Yes,
The Voldemort of cars. Yes.
Yeah. Well, good to hear that the Euro's on the road, Jim. That's exciting. Yeah, keen to see that one.
Yes.
When you say
at some point it'll get slimline black plates, but because that's a bit of like a frivolous purchase, it'll be down the track when I've got some spare cash. But
yeah, fair enough. No, well, I think the plates on it looked okay. So as long as it's not the standard ones you get in Sydney, like all New South Wales, the yellow ones, they don't look good on anything. it's
terrible.
Anyway, Chad, updates with you.
Updates with me. So yeah, I missed last week, but since then, still been tinkering on the Magna a little bit. I've tried to readjust the pedal to see if I can maybe get it to, engage the clutch and go into gear, but still not able to figure that part of it out. So I ended up ordering a clutch fork and a pivot ball thingy.
You can still get them?
Supposedly from Japan.
Okay.
You can. I found the Mitsubishi number and, sort of looked it up and ordered it from a place called Impex. Unfortunately, it's also, it was Golden Week in Japan.
Yeah.
So it's been a bit of they've had a bit of downtime. So my order hasn't been processed, but I did send an inquiry today just to be like, hey, what's going on with it? Because it's been in process for like nearly 20 days now. And they just said, yeah, because of Golden Week, it's a bit delayed, but hopefully it'll get fulfilled in the next week or so. And then it's going to get shipped out to their warehouse, and then they've got to organize freight to get it here. So find out how much that will cost. But the parts themselves weren't expensive. It was like $80 for the fork and like $5 for the pivot ball.
Yeah.
So pretty reasonable pricing. Yeah. And then today I had a day off, so I went around and been meaning to get around to getting the Mercedes fuel line redone. So I went around to a bunch of places, went to Pertec. They said we don't do fuel hoses. I was like, all right, interesting. Because everything that I've read on the Mercedes owners pages, they're like, yeah, just go to Pertec and they'll hook it up for you. Apparently the one I went to doesn't, so interesting. It doesn't matter. They recommended another place and I went and saw them and they said, no, yeah, we don't. We just do hydraulic and like brake lines and whatnot. So I was like, fair enough. And then I just ended up Googling quickly, like custom fuel lines, Melbourne sort of thing. And this place popped up in Epping. So I gave him a call and he goes, look, I'd really have to look at it to see if I can do it or not. Because it's got these pressed fittings on either side, and it's got a thread on one end that goes into the fuel tank. And then the other side is like got this T-piece, like a brass T-piece, like a weird sort of setup. So I just, I took it around. He goes, yeah, it looks like a bit of a mess around, but I'm sure I can make it work. Like, we can't do those like old school press fittings anymore, but they can do some other sort of stuff. So I just left it with them. I went and ran some other errands, and then I came back about 40 minutes later, and he goes, yeah, look, I've managed to like put all the new fittings on and put brand new hose on.
Oh, wow.
Essentially all the rubber hoses have been redone. It's got new fittings on it. It's got new, like, I don't know what they're called, but like they're like these round clamps that they like sort of squeeze together. I don't know.
Okay.
They called them something and I forgot now. But he goes, it's not really a high pressure line, so it doesn't really need to be like super, like clamped down or anything. But he goes, this should probably see you through. So I've got I've got all that now. It was less than half the price of getting one from Germany.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
To get that just redone. So shout out to Easy Hoses in Epping. Anyone need custom hose stuff done, they're very switched on and they seem to know what they're doing. So
100%.
I've got a new fuel pump for the Mercedes on order. I've got a fuel filter and spark plugs and leads all coming through shortly. So yeah, once it's all arrived, I'll slap it all in and see if I can get it to at least idle properly and, just try and fix it so it's a bit drivable.
Yeah.
And then, I'll sort out the paint on it. So that'll be the next thing while I wait for the Magna the parts to arrive.
Yeah.
To hopefully finish off that manual conversion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's been me for the last couple of weeks.
Awesome.
Imminent. Hopefully.
Imminent.
Now, guest of honor, Ed Ordynski.
Well,
updates with you, my friend.
Yeah.
So for some context, he was telling us about this update yesterday, and he's like, I'll hold off till the show. So I'm excited to hear it.
Yeah, well, now I feel like I've got to explain myself. I'll get to the point straight off. I've bought a 1994 BMW 318 IS Coupe.
Oh, yes. Cool car.
36 model.
Yeah.
And this is having, in November last year, we downsized, my wife Kathy and I, from an equestrian property on acreage with parking for 13 cars. I had to downsize my fleet to just room for 5, including the roadies. So down to 2 classics for me. Embraced the minimalist lifestyle, thinking no more cars ever. And
I'm sure we could all learn a thing or two.
Yeah. So, this is the reason I've got to explain myself, isn't it? But you guys are probably the only audience that'll understand.
What are you doing?
Kathy said to me one night, because we're sitting in our little stone cottage, 100-year-old cottage on 800 square meters. So it's a huge change. And she said, are you enjoying it? And I said, I love it. I can walk into town, but I really miss not having something to drive to coffee and cars in. The 2 classics I took were my 2 Datsun 1600s I've owned since the 70s. They haven't been driven since the early 80s, so they need recommissioning. And she said to me, just go out and buy something, that you can go to coffee and cars in and then sell it once you've got a Datsun going. So I looked around because all my cars were 70s, 60s, 70s cars. And I thought, why not get something that's got, some nice air conditioning and we can both go cruising, etc. So
have to keep your wife happy.
Yeah. So I've only had it maybe 6 weeks or so. I could tell you about the process of getting it, but the part I wanted to share with you is I'm absolutely amazed that you can get the parts for them so easily. It's a lovely car, 94,000 kilometers.
Oh my goodness.
But I, from when I looked at it, its suspension is 30 odd years old, and you like to have nice shocks and all of that. So I've been collecting the parts for that and trying to buy the genuine parts, or at least the Sarks or Bow.
OEM replacement
part numbers. Yep. And I've pretty well got everything. And Matty, I got the front struts from Super Cheap.
Get out.
Absolutely. Sark's correct part number.
Yeah, wow.
Everything. If you you probably know this.
Yeah.
You get all these things, but
I can get Bilsteins and everything. It's quite good.
I've got them coming in, from all over the place. I've got springs coming out from the UK, and I was making it more complex than it needed to be. And suddenly Super Cheap came up, and they were the first part that arrived. The front struts for a BMW 318R that's 30 years old.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, I'm not going to brag or anything, but we're pretty good.
So I've got everything now. I've got the struts, the rear shocks, all the rubbers, the mounts, springs, etc. But I've got to do the work yet. Not everything's arrived. Also, when I looked at it, it was making some noise from the front pulleys. The car had sat around, it was deceased sale.
Okay.
And, often when they sit around for more than 12 months, things like that are noisy.
Yeah.
So it was an idler pulley, power steering pump was noisy, etc. But I took it straight off to a BMW specialist. I didn't know, quite close by Mount Barker, a business called CM Warehouse. And they did the job, new belts, new pulley, flushed out the power steering. It's quiet as a mouse now. So I'm looking forward to having something I can tinker with and use, go to Cars and Coffee in.
That's really cool.
What color is it?
It's white and really highly spec'd. So although it's only a 4-cylinder.
Well, it's an S, so it's got LSD in the back, right?
No LSD unless it was optioned up.
Okay.
It doesn't. It's got its original sales, and it didn't order the guy. The owner didn't order the LSD, but he did tick the boxes for the really plush leather trim. And it was a $4,000 option in 1994, December 94.
A load of money.
I think he had about $12,000 worth of options. It was about $70,000 as a new car.
Wow. It's a 318IS, so it's
twin cam.
Twin cam, yeah. It's the hotter mode of
M42.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys know these cars.
A little bit, yeah.
And I know they have problems. I'm aware that they have. But Cameron up there at the BMW specialist, I said, while you're in there, do whatever you think needs to be done. And he said, I'd rather leave this well alone because it's not being mucked around with. And some of them have got plastic water pump impellers.
Oh, yeah.
And, everything online says take the water pump out and make sure you've got a metal one in there. But he said to me, most of the ones that have had problems, they've done, a couple of 100,000 kilometers at least. They've been run hot. One that's got a lovely service history, etc., which it does, is probably just drive and enjoy, particularly as I'm only going to Cars and Coffee in it.
Yeah.
So far, nice air conditioning's lovely and cold.
So we got are they M-Tech seats?
No, they're not. No,
right.
The M-Tech was another option as well, and an expensive option.
Jeez.
But you could specify this leather trim.
But without the M-Tech stuff.
The seats wouldn't be out of place in a brand new car. They're a really plush, big, deep,
that's cool.
kind of pleated seat. Just beautiful.
Nice.
It's a charcoal interior, all white. And
it's a nice combo.
The original owner, Craig, he specified the M Performance wheels. So they look like the M3 wheels.
Yeah, they're similar,
but
right?
the M3, they were staggered, wider on the back than the front. And the ones for a 4-cylinder are narrower and
like 16 inch or something.
They're 17 still.
They're 17.
But they're, I think, half an inch narrower than the M3.
Yeah,
so they kind of suit the 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
It looks, it's beautiful. everyone who's seen it goes, it's a beautiful car. And I was fortunate to find it. Shall I keep yapping about this?
Absolutely.
It's I saw it I looked at them on car sales, and there were maybe a dozen or so 318 ISs, but high Ks, modified, etc. And the one that I bought, but was advertised as an automatic, and I particularly wanted to have a manual. And so I looked at the pictures and thought, a couple of the photos, I thought it's beautiful, but no, automatic. So and it was there for a few weeks, and I was showing a mate of mine, going, I wonder how hard that is to convert to a manual gearbox.
Easier than a magnet. I'm going to say.
And I was flipping the photos, and I saw the interior photo. It had a manual gear stick in it.
It was just listed wrong.
Listed wrongly. And so I rang the number, straight away.
Yeah.
And Emma, the niece of her uncle who passed away, she was handling the sale. There was only her auntie and uncle, no children. He had passed away, of an undiagnosed heart attack in his sleep.
Yeah, well.
Bought the car as a weekend car and had babied it all his life. They're on beautiful property in Victoria here.
Oh, yeah, right.
And I said to Emma, it looks beautiful in the photos. What's it like in real life? And she goes, well, if you're going to come and see, I'm going to say this honestly, and I don't want to be, have you yelling at me if it's not correct, but I think it looks better in real life.
Yeah, right.
And she sounded lovely on the phone, and it was delightful when I met her. And I said, I'm going to get on a flight and come over. And she said, I'll pick you up at the airport. And
incredible.
Drove me there to property that they lived on, and the car was, in the garage it had always lived in.
Mm.
She took me down to see the guy who had done a roadworthy for it and some servicing on it. So I met him. He said, "No, you can drive it home to Adelaide.
Wow.
No problem."
That is awesome.
So it was a lovely, really lovely purchasing experience. They're a beautiful family, and I feel like we're friends,
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, nice.
And whoever mentioned their personalised plates just before too, it was registered in Victoria with the number NEF 355, which was the blue script on a white background
Yeah.
that era. And in South Australia, we've got personal plates with blue script on white background, and I got the same number plate.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, nice.
How good's that?
Yeah, so it
Yeah,
looks the
that's
same
cool.
in all the photos.
But SA custom plate.
Yeah. And so I've got
That's really
photos of it from
Yeah,
Emma
nice.
and so on, and it matches.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, that would be really
Brilliant.
cool to see for the family as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. And they've been sending me things. The radio, someone must have disconnected the battery, maybe at service or something, so I didn't have the code.
Yep.
I was wondering how I'm going to get that, but Emma found it at her auntie's place.
Oh, no way.
Sent it to me, and that's all going now.
Yeah, right.
So no, it's got everything works.
What's that?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, like, it is in drivable condition, but you drove it back to.
Oh, it's
Adelaide.
great. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
It's just the suspension's very soft.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of like them because a friend of mine had one new back in the 90s, and I was always driving Mitsubishis, of course.
Yeah.
But I remember it being a very nice car. But I remember it was firm but still lovely supple suspension.
Yep,
Mine's just
yep.
a bit too soft.
Yeah.
So I think I'll treat it to
Absolutely.
everything all round.
Give it a birthday.
Yeah. I bought it on condition, thinking, if I've got to do mechanical stuff,
Yeah.
the body and interior and everything is so nice.
Do you think you got a good deal?
Well, I paid $19,000 for it,
Okay.
and that's upper range for those, but I think it's worth every cent
That's
because
a
you couldn't
good
restore
example.
one.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
yeah.
it's
No, that's
it's
right.
beautiful.
I think that's bang on. To be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah, I think it was fair for
Yeah.
all of us, and yeah, I'm very happy with the purchase,
Good
because
stuff.
I can use it. I can go to coffee and cars
Absolutely.
straight away.
Awesome card for that as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Has I got the full the body kit looks like an M3 kit or is it
No, only the wheels.
only the wheels? Okay.
So the 318,
IS.
Yeah.
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 the IS is still
Because it's kind of a rare car, the IS. They I haven't, you don't see them often. You see a lot of 318. I mean, not you don't.
And they used to be everywhere.
They used to be everywhere. E36.
And then they just disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the coupe is quite special. They were always a lot more expensive than the equivalent sedan because they have almost no panels in common. And they've got that lovely kind of European look of the 70s, 80s, 90s that continued. Big glass area. It's kind of a factory bluey tint in the glass, which goes really well with it.
Yeah.
So no, we're using it quite a bit actually already. I've got on historic reg, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What's the process? Sorry, I'm going to keep waffling on about car stuff. But what's the process like getting a car historic registered in South Australia? What are the criteria?
I think we're pretty the same
Okay.
Australia-wide or very close. So I just had to, buying it in Victoria, I had to get an unregistered Victorian vehicle permit to drive home, go to a police ID check.
Oh,
and,
really?
Yeah, they're just to make sure that the car you're trying to register in SA is the car. They have to cite the ID, the VIN, the engine number, etc.
Yeah.
They just, although they have the right to put it over the pits, they just took one look and said, "Oh, this is a lovely car," and found the numbers.
Yeah.
And you can either go and register straight away, but the police there said to me something I didn't know, which is, and that may be the same in Victoria, that if you go and do your historic inspection first with your car club and then go, that can take you a week or so to get booked in for them to do your log paperwork, etc., and then take all that to motor reg or whatever you call that here, then you don't pay stamp duty on the historically registered car, which you would if you went on to full reg. You'd pay stamp duty on the purchase price.
You're right. You don't do that. Actually.
Yeah, so I think that would have been like $900 or something on this little car.
The price of vehicle,
So, I waited a week or so to see the club registrar and got the paperwork done and
straight onto historic.
Straight onto historic. The only thing I had to do was buy number plates first before going onto the premium plate to get that NEF 355. So I had to spend $60 to get a regular number plate.
Oh, right.
Because the the personalized plates take some weeks to come
Come
through.
in, yeah.
So you can have personalized plates on historic registration.
They can in SA.
Yes.
Oh man.
I know, right? We don't.
What a load of
Yeah.
Is that not the case?
No.
no.
Well, you need to get that changed.
I wish we could, because we're stuck with the maroon and white colors on the historic plates, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if anywhere else in Australia does that.
No, I know SA's done
SA
that,
does it?
yeah. So they've been really good with that. Like
Yeah,
you
right.
guys have got a really good system there. Is for you 30 years or 25 years?
It's 25 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So SA gets it.
I thought it was
They
30.
just get it, man.
I thought it was 30, but no, 25. I only just found that out. I could have looked for a newer BMW.
Yeah, could have got an E46 on top.
There's one on the edge of my street, actually.
Oh, really?
26.
Yeah, no.
I walked out when he first got it done. This is late last year. The car was on full reg, and then like the next week it was on a club plate, and I'm just like, are these that old now? Like, I felt old. Like, I'm not.
It makes you feel old.
Oh
when you see
man,
that,
I'm no one new. Like, anyway, that's.
And those cars, those BMWs of that era, and I haven't driven many BMWs, but they've still got beautiful steering.
Oh yeah,
it's immediately
some of
obvious.
the best for its era.
No, yeah, absolutely.
It's got to be.
Yeah,
I think even the ISs have like maybe even a quick ratio steering
rack.
Or a quick rack.
I think they've got a quicker rack than
Well, they do like a steering box potentially.
They're rack.
Oh, they are rack.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. Yeah, it's quite good. It's very fast response off center.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can make cars feel a bit unstable, but it's really linear as well. So you're never in any doubt, where
really
straight ahead is.
You off to like railroading you to one side or anything.
No, not at all.
Very good.
No, so it's a well option car. So you said nice leather interior, nice wheels,
Sunroof.
So the sunroof was an option. I think about $12,000 worth of options. It was made up of the leather trim, the wheels were an expensive option, the sunroof, and the CD stacker in the boot.
Oh,
I think that's pretty well it. It's got BMW mats still in beautiful condition. The interior is immaculate. Really, I think probably only Uncle Craig drove it.
Yeah,
I think that's it. Boots beautiful, all the toolkits there.
It sounds like it's just a well looked after car.
Yeah, really nice. Credit to them.
Word of advice with an E36: do not take it apart, because they will just rattle and I mean, David Prince would know this. He can attest to it.
Yeah,
like I've got a few friends with some E36s, and this one lady, she had a 328 I convertible, and her husband was helping fix the car and take some parts of the dash out, put a stereo in it and things, and it just the whole thing creaked and rattled. And she's like, "I wish I never took the car apart."
Yeah.
So
right.
Word of advice is just leave it.
Yeah. There's some things you notice too, and I was thinking it was old car, but it kind of gurgled through the heater system. You could hear noises, or the air conditioner made different sounds driving back, and I was thinking, I hope that's not some issue. But since I took it to the BMW specialist, and it's had its flush out and new thermostat and all those things, that's all gone, so I was starting to think, that might be something I'm going to have to get in there and perhaps be fiddling around up under the dash, which I'm loath to do. Everything looks so untouched.
Don't do a heater matrix job.
Oh, yeah, forget it.
Okay.
Yeah. No, well,
thank you for the warnings.
Yeah.
I can ask
my worst enemy.
I can ask you guys a question, and seeing as you've had experience with them, when I do the rear springs, the workshop manual says to drop the drive shafts, and everything on YouTube says you don't need to. You can just use a big lever, but the manual says to drop the drive shafts because you can lever against the CV joint and overextend it. Have you changed rear springs?
Not on one of those. I've done springs on other cars, but
Is it coilover?
It's
no,
they're like a Datsun 1600 rear end. It was part of my attraction to BMW.
That's why you like it so much.
So separate
separate shock and spring. Yeah,
okay.
I think it's called. Is it called a divorce shock or the divorce spring? Like it's like there's a special term for it where it's separate. It's not like a coil over over the spring.
So it's a very compact spring. It's wound. It's a barrel spring, so it collapses into itself.
Yeah. I've only done a rear spring replacement on a front wheel drive car like that, like my old Volvo.
Yeah,
but that you just as soon as you drop the
shock,
pretty much as soon as it's full droop, you can almost use a lever bar to like move the spring out of place. because there's enough, travel
Give, yeah.
in it. But otherwise, yeah, you just take like the bottom.
I think the drive shaft is just a flange onto the diff. You can just pull one end.
Oh
It
yeah,
looks
like
a
six
Datsun
bolts or
1600.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
So
So
I'm
that's
sure
not
it's an
gonna-
easy enough job.
I don't know
anyway.
why you wouldn't just undo that and drop it down so you've got
More access.
full leverage
Yeah,
on the
potentially.
trailing arm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It's
Okay.
probably not going to be a very, very hard install.
I'll give it a go.
Uninstall. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think because I know E30 rear ends were very simple. And they kept them on the E36 compact, had the E30
Yeah.
E30 rear end. And people really liked those because they were very simple. But yeah, I mean, I'd just follow what the manual would say and,
Yeah.
and just and do that. Wouldn't be too much of an issue.
Plus,
The
it's one of
rest-
those, just 6 bolts onto the diff.
Yep.
It's pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
Instead of having to get the spline out of the diff.
Yeah, no,
it's not one
won't
of
have to
those
do that.
setups.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Happy days.
Yeah, I think it'd be fine. Front looks just like a Datsun 1600.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the whole car reminds me
It's
of,
That's a
basically
1600.
That's 1600.
it reminds me of what
German
a
1600.
So that's the German Datsun 1600.
yeah, BMW did a good job of copying Datsun.
Yeah.
The car kind of reminds me of what a Datsun 180B Triple S would have become had
Yeah.
they kept it going for 20 years.
Yeah.
It's a similar sort of size and feel and engine size and this kind of long-legged sort of feel. I was surprised to learn that the gearbox, which I didn't realize till driving it from Melbourne to Adelaide, it's a 1-to-1 fifth gear.
Oh, in fifth.
Yes.
That's uncommon. It's usually
So they run a long diff ratio, 3.45 to 1 final
Mhm.
drive, but fifth is not an overdrive.
Oh, right.
So you've got a close ratio.
Ratio, yeah.
But still,
That'd be quite responsive on the freeway. Like
it's great. It's revving sort
Yeah,
of 3,000
yeah.
revs is 110 or whatever,
Yeah.
like thereabouts. But it pulls quite hard in fifth gear because it's 1-to-1.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Really
Yeah.
cool.
That's actually I did not know that.
Yeah.
You've taught me something today about
Oh.
those.
Well, I can go now.
Oh,
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks to our live listeners.
Got nothing else.
That's a cracking car update. So that's Ed Ordynski's updates. I can't believe we've done an update with Ed Ordynski. That's pretty wild.
That's the first.
That's a first, yeah. That is a first. So I was just telling him, just between us, that that's such an Ed Ordynski car. If you like the Datsun 1600, like I can see you in one. Yeah, it's a nice car.
It's funny how different like automakers from different countries almost have that same vision of like
Yeah,
small 2-door coupe, rear-wheel drive, manual. Like it's the the combination that works everywhere.
yeah.
And doesn't matter what sort of where you're from, everyone is sort of attracted to that if you're into cars. It's really cool.
And even that commonality that the 4 and the 6, you can build onto the back of and with interchangeable parts and so on. It was very Datsun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So like, I hear like people say that the two sweet spots in the E36 range, like the M3 is obviously god tier, but like the was the 318 IS or the 328. Because I've driven a few 328s and they're a sort of sweet little straight six. So yeah, I'm a fan. Good, classy choice. Smart. That's the thinking man's M3. Some would say. Updates with me real quick. I dropped the laser to get the roadworthy work done. So I actually on Saturday went to Ratner's to take some more bits off my black laser. So that pretty much the interior is completely stripped in that. I was gonna pull a dash out and the fan and stuff out. So like that's the last kind of couple of things of the interior, because they mounted the carpet when the fireys just chucked stuff in there and just
They chuck stuff in there.
Yeah, they chucked all dirt, all when they were stopping the fuel with the fans.
Of course.
They what do they use? They used like the
More
kind of like kitty litter or
kitty
something.
litter, yeah, pretty much.
Oh.
Yeah. And after that, they've just dumped it in the car and in the footwells and everything. So it's munted a lot of things.
There's no fuel inside the car though.
No. Well, there was no fuel in the tank either. I had a full tank of fuel.
It was outside now.
Yeah. I think we were talking last night. Steph was like, she's like, and you just filled the car. It's like it was worth a quarter of the car, to be honest with you, at the time. But the fuel, which is, but anyway, so. With a boot full of parts from Super Cheap, I dropped it off to mechanic just up the road actually. from where we are. He's my tire guy, Sebastian. We know him. He's
Yep.
a great guy. So he's doing everything. The only thing he's not doing are the front shocks and front brakes is quite literally 300 kilometers before my car got written off. I just changed the brakes, and the shocks were like not even 50,000 k old. So I might just see how they are. If the conditions are pretty
And
good,
then
still
swap
swap
them
into the other car. And because like the spring rates are the same being an SR2. So yeah, we'll see. I'll take him out. I might just say, oh, well, why am I being a cheap ass and just buy a set of brakes because they're pretty cheap and stuff anyway. So, but yeah, I'll suss out the condition of them once I take those off. Yeah. So then I'll picking that up Thursday night. They're doing a timing belt water pump, rear brakes. I did the rear brakes on my car myself, and I just time. I just haven't got time in the next few weeks. All engine mounts. I managed to get. Well, so yeah, another reason why I was there on Saturday was I was going to pull out the engine the timing belt covers off my old car because they were quite new when I rebuilt the motor not too long ago. But as I was trying to take them out, I didn't realize that the chassis had bent that much that it's actually cracked the covers.
It's hit the tower.
It's hit the tower, yeah. Like it's because it's pushed it on the side, but it's also pushed it into 3 other cars forward.
Yeah.
And on the right side where the timing belt is situated on the car, it's just crushed it. The engine mount's gone up and cracked the covers. And I was just like, well, I can't use these now, can I? So, and I was spewing because like I planned to use it on the car, and then they were doing the timing belt today, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to get a set of covers like you've got to get them online, and I found a few places online, and I was like, I might just put on one of the Mazda page because Mazda 323 pages. Anyone got anywhere like I said, a secondhand covers, and a guy's like, I've got a brand new set, and I'm like, how much do you want for them? Where are you located? He's like, I'm located in Werribee. I'm like, oh, perfect. So so I went there, $50. I was like, whatever. That's it was pretty. I was like, I'll take those. So that it was that was on Sunday. It was a little bit of a lifesaver. Then I just proceeded to go to Jolly's in Geelong, and because when I was trying to find a set of these covers, I realized I had an SR2 there that was marked as just a 1.6. So I was like, they didn't mark it correctly. So and it's got mint roof rails. So I took the roof rails off that, and they'll be seeing David Prince for a bit
and Laser SR2 roof rails cornered, buddy.
Oh mate, I think I'm sorted now, David Prince. So yeah, fuck yes, absolutely. They were gone. So I took those, and they only charged me like $20 each for them. So I was like, awesome. It was pretty good bargain shopping. So I think it was with everything I got was like $60. It wasn't really it wasn't much at all. So that's picking that up Thursday. So hopefully no more belt squeal from the alternator belt, and we'll be taking on Friday afternoon to my paint shop. And they're gonna have it for a few months. They're gonna do the front bar, rear bar, roof, bonnet, spoiler, and just PDR a bit of the sides because the paint on the sides is quite good. And then I think that car should be ready for club plates. Should be a cracker. Awesome. So I'm really excited. Yeah, when I drove it yesterday, because that was the second time I drove it. I haven't driven it since. It was just like it felt like home. You know a car you feel comfortable with. It's just like you just feel like absolute home. And
like a comfortable pair of slippers, mate.
So what was that, David?
Comfortable pair of slippers.
Absolutely, it is. Like it's the most. It's like out of all the cars I've got and I've driven over the years, like it's the one car I can hop in. Just brainless, just you feel at home and just go. So yeah, so that's done. And I won't see that for probably 2 or 3 months. That I said, take your time because like I don't have to have the car back. Plus, it'd be out of storage for a while, so it'd be be
free storage. Well, not free, but
yeah. I'm paying for it in the long run, but like it'll
storage included.
Storage included. So. They said it should be done in a few months. I said you can have it till the end of the year. Really, like I'm not,
not going to need it.
Not going to need it until then. So, but I think that they said if it'd be done in a few months. We'll just chip away at it and in between jobs. So yeah, so that's my car updates, gentlemen. Now to the main topic of this evening is Ed Ordynski. Obviously, he's the main attraction. All
Tell you
right.
about it later.
Oh, sorry. No.
Oh, the whole idea of a club plate, I think, is so that the police can see it's on historic reg.
Oh, gotcha.
And then they can potentially pull you over and check your logbook.
Logbook,
or
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But you don't need an ID now that there's number plate recognition. So they can just be following an old car with a personalised plate
Yeah.
and go, I wonder if that's on club. And it tells them straight away
Mm.
through the number plate recognition system.
Yeah, like it's not a regular permit; it's a historic permit or whatever.
Yeah, so the registration status comes up on their screen of
Yeah.
every car.
Mm.
Right, gotcha.
And so straight off, they go, oh, he's on Club Historic. Let's pull
Yes.
BMW over and
Let's
check
check his book. Yeah, he filled it out today.
yeah, which is
Where's
really
the
the only
copy number
person
sticker?
that's really the only reason for having a plate identifying is so that they know
Yeah.
which cars are and which aren't.
Interesting. Yeah.
I think.
I mean,
Otherwise,
yeah,
there's no
like-
purpose in having a club plate.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Find out from
Find out if,
whatever the SA
and maybe it's
roads is. SA roads.
yeah, what are they called? You know, if you were trying to get it changed in Victoria, maybe saying, well, have all the police cars got number plate recognition on board, because it kind of negates the need to have
Yeah, maybe.
an ID plate.
Yeah, potentially.
Because you can only, I'm kind of, that's only my thought, but I'm thinking the purpose of an identifying plate is to display that you've got historic registration.
Yeah. So you still have the sticker, obviously, like a little no registration.
Yeah,
sticker.
dude, you can't even tell which ones are there.
Oh, right.
That's pretty. It's pretty cool.
But lots of people are getting pulled up and checked
Yeah.
through the number plate recognition system.
Sure. Yeah. So there's more of those probably than there is in maybe Victoria.
Yeah.
There are, yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
I will add to that. I was on Mount Alexander Road, a road which we drove on this evening, Ed Ordynski, and I was in my old Mercedes W124 and was coming back home from a night out in the city. And Saturday night on Mount Road, it always used to be pretty busy because there's a few clubs and bars and stuff there. And I'm just sitting there and I get a knock at the window and I look around, there's a cop in high vis. And he's like, put your window down. I put my window down. I'm like, hi. He's like, you got your logbook? And this car was on the club plate. I'm like, yeah, that was the most random thing. In the middle of the road, he was just walking up and down the.
What?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Mate, I've never been like so lucky. I signed my book this day. Yeah. He's like, oh, off you go. I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah,
And
right.
I held up traffic and everything as he was searching it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, wild.
Like, at least it's weird to do that on foot. Like, pull you over
Oh,
in a
mate.
vehicle, sure, fair enough. But, like,
Never had that happen before.
yeah, that's strange.
Yeah.
I reckon you know what they would be looking at? People on their phones.
100%. Yeah.
People
Absolutely. Just wondering.
looking at,
through-
yeah, like in slow moving traffic. Like, that's a common thing.
Yeah.
I used to see that in Brunswick a lot, actually, in
Oh, right.
Brunswick Road in
Yeah.
Brunswick, because there's a level crossing, which is still there.
Yeah,
in the terms of removing it now, but there's banks up there quite a lot.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of traffic in the evening or in the morning in that rush time, and there's people just scrolling on their phones, and I've seen police on bikes and also on foot, just sort of
Get
walking
out.
around the traffic, like in the middle of traffic.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, and you're like, yeah, well,
Yeah.
I guess they gotta hit those quotes.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Yeah,
that's wild, Chad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not hating on the cops. We love the cops. So let's get into a bit about you, Ed. So obviously your motorsport history has been well documented. You've had many interviews. You've had many talks like this, and especially at your time at Mitsubishi. I think that's when people know you the best.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, I guess that's how we've become, into contact through Mitsubishi. Well, through your history with Mitsubishi, and
I get young people saying to me, you were so lucky that your dad bought you a Mitsubishi Galant VR4 as your first rally car. Because, they weren't around all the years prior to that. So that's what
hard times getting there.
that's the way it must have happened.
Oh, he out of high school into a Galant VR4.
Yeah, which kind of happens to some people, but usually you're much better off to work your way up through the ranks.
Yeah.
And my very first rally car was a K10 Corolla, 1968 Toyota Corolla that I bought for $200.
So that was your self-funded rally car.
Yeah, so I was straight out of high school, first year uni, and the Corolla was $200. It had done so that would have been late 1973, and already it had done 100,000 miles. It was somebody owned it from new and drove from Adelaide to Broken Hill regularly for work.
Oh, right, yeah.
And
So I was in 73.
yep, and it was a 1968 model.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that'd be a late 60-year-old
car.
That's wild.
I know,
Even.
and
But
we
back then too, like that's a lot of case for an
That
old,
is a
for an
lot of
old
case.
car.
That's
Like,
100,000 miles.
miles.
Oh yeah.
Correct.
That's an awful lot of driving. But
Yeah.
Broken Hill's very far, so
Yes.
makes sense.
Yeah. But they were a remarkable little car. I'd come. My road car was a Mini Deluxe 998cc Mini, and the Corolla was a huge step up.
Right.
Even
yeah.
one with 100,000 miles on it. And I spent a total of $700 on it, so more than 3 times the purchase price. To equip
That's
it
then
for rally.
modified into rally spec.
Yeah, so I left the mechanicals the same, but I went to the wreckers and got K20 disc brakes
Oh,
and
wow.
master cylinder and the
Yeah.
rear brake biasing thingies and the rear wheel cylinders. The gearbox, the synchros were completely gone, so you doubled the
Wow.
clutch everywhere,
Yeah. Well,
which was great training.
yeah. That was-
And I left the engine I left the same for a couple of minor events, but then had to do an engine rebuild on it, and we put different springs and shocks on it, raised the ride height
Yep.
a lot because the rallies were rough back then. They were all nighters
Oh,
out in the
sure.
middle of nowhere.
wow,
They were
okay.
map navigation. So
Yeah.
rallying changed a lot.
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
my era, we went from mapping events through to the modern era of rallying
Yeah.
as you see nowadays. My co-driver Andrew Hunter, I met in first year high school. We're still best mates
Really?
Oh, that's
nowadays.
fantastic.
So we met on the 1968 London to Sydney Marathon, and back we were saying then, we'll need to go rallying when we get out of high school. So that's what we did, and that little car was great. It had something very unusual, be almost a quiz question for you. That what was so unique about the Toyota Corolla KE10 suspension? No other Toyota, to my knowledge, not many cars at all.
Ooh, that is a good question. David Prince probably know this
Specifically
because you own a KE10, didn't you?
No, mine was a bit newer.
Oh, okay.
30, 35, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Were they torsion bar?
No, it's a transverse leaf front spring.
Oh, really?
Whoa.
Okay.
Front leaf spring.
Yeah, it's still
Transvert, like
and across.
across, yeah.
Like one leaf spring turned upside down and put across.
So like a Corvette.
Like a Corvette, exactly.
Yeah.
It's kind of lifting the whole profile of a
Yeah.
K10 Corolla.
Can I just say it's probably the only thing like a Corvette about it.
Yeah. So it still has like McPherson struts.
Yeah.
But the whole anti-roll bar situation and the roll of the car, etc., and the stiffness is controlled by the leaf spring.
Yeah.
So it was very easy to just put another leaf in that,
Yeah.
and suddenly
To
the
raise
thing-
it.
to raise it
And to stiffen it?
and to stiffen it.
Yeah.
And it made it like a weapon over rough roads.
How? Yeah, I mean, look, as we know, like leaf springs are very sort of a tough ride.
Yep.
How did a small car that's probably less than 1,000 kilos go with that sort of setup on off-road or like rally,
Rally stages.
Yeah.
stages? Yeah.
I guess in reality they were still quite a soft leaf spring.
Okay.
But it gave it because it was multiple leaves, so it's got a staged effect.
Okay.
So rather than crashing out and bottoming out, it was good in the rough stuff.
Yeah, okay.
I did still get passed by like old Peugeot 403s,
Right.
in the really rough stages. But it was
Those things were made for Africa, to be fair.
yeah. But no, they were an amazing little car, that first model Corolla.
Yeah.
Really surprising. So I rallied that for 3 years. I met my second co-driver who was navigating in a Ford Escort Lotus twin cam up the front of the field.
Yeah.
And one night we were on an outback track, like 2 cars wide in South Australia, boring along flat out, and there were lights in front. And that little Corolla, I had a cylinder head from a guy called Mel McEwen who raced them, and it would rev like crazy, and you could get it, probably coax it up close to 160, and
Wow.
and we were gaining on the Escort because they were so low geared, those Ford
Yeah.
Escorts, they had like a 5.1 diff or
It's
something.
very- yeah.
So they had a top speed of maybe, only
150?
150.
Yeah.
And so we kind of just inched past them, got through the dust. And that's how I met Lynn Wilson, my second co-driver, they went, "You boys in that Corolla,"
Yeah.
it was terrific. Yeah.
That's
So great times.
So you obviously like when you rebuilt the motor, did you hot it up a little bit? Would you put like a camshaft in there,
Yeah.
Obviously if you've done headwork, you would have done a cam.
Yeah, so I didn't do that work myself.
Okay.
So I was at Flinders University first year, and there was a Flinders Uni car club which I joined, and there was a guy a year older than me in the car club, a guy called Dave Vaudry, and he lived at Wollonga in South Australia, and he had a mechanic working on his Renault 10 rally car, who had just come out from England, and my little Corolla dropped onto 3 cylinders.
Oh,
and he said, bring it down to Mick. It was just out from the UK, went round to that workshop, and he did, took the head off, got it going so it could go in a rally, said to me, it was only the 3rd rally I think I'd been in, and he said, you know what, I'm going to load my trailer up to my XP Falcon station wagon because, this isn't going to do a long rally like the one I was next in. And from then on, he was, I would take my car there and work on it at his place.
Oh, well.
He helped me enormously. He was only 29 then. He's 83 now. I had lunch with him, a few weeks ago.
Oh, awesome.
And Mick prepared, from then on, he basically prepared all of my cars right up to and including the first VR4s. And then Rally Art had him come on events, in my professional career. Yeah. So he was at my very last rally as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's just fantastic how people who help you from the goodness of their heart, stay through. We had Mick working on my cars full time when we went to Finland and Sweden, all over the place. And I'm kind of very proud that he worked on my KE10.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
that's a cracking story. Just like, did you obviously moved that car on?
Yeah. Can I tell you about it? It's got a score.
Absolutely.
The deputy principal at the school I was working at said he would buy it if I stripped out the roll cage. So I took the roll cage out, and Mick painted it back to its original desert beige colour because it had sponsors on it. And we sold it to the deputy principal. He drove it for like 2 years at the school I was teaching at. So I saw it every day.
Yeah.
And then he sold it back to me.
Oh, you put it back?
And we got it back off him. And I used it again for just a little while, and then we gave it to my wife Kathy's sister-in-law to drive, and she taught her kids to drive in it. And then it finally cried enough, and they took it to a wreckers.
Oh,
but what a life it had!
That's an incredible life.
Yeah. Have you got photos of that car?
I do. Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
And I have it back in its desert beige with the deputy principal too.
Oh, this is great. This is a book, Ed. This is a book.
No,
absolutely it is.
It's, I feel like you're the only guys interested in this stuff.
Bear in mind, Ed, you're speaking to a guy with, Scamp, R31 and a blade. Jim Barlow with his many interesting Magnas and with Accords and Civics. Chad with everything under the sun, Sylvias and I-30s and So you're speaking to Magnas. You're speaking to people with eclectic cars who appreciate the mundane. So
and it's kind of, I guess with all the years that have passed, it feels pretty special talking about it.
Yeah.
That now enough years have gone that there'd be, I'm sure there's some people listening who'd go, I never thought of a KU10 Corolla as a rally car.
Yeah. Was it quite competitive? Like, because I guess like correct me if I'm wrong. I wouldn't know. Like, I'm no Ed Ordynski, but I guess a lighter car on a stage would that be a lot easier to just throw around and get it, or does it not have enough mass to kind of dig in and get a bit of grip?
It really didn't have the performance to drive proper rally style. That's fair to say. But it taught me many things as a driver, like how important it is to keep momentum up. You couldn't afford to scrub off speed. So you had to actually be tidy with it. If you backed it in and slid it like an Escort or something of the era, you came out of the corner much slower.
You didn't have the torque to pull you out of the...
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
To carry as much speed in as you can,
yes,
safely and whatnot, and try and, have that, once you've passed the apex of that corner, just have the momentum to just keep going to the next. Yeah.
Because you always want to, be leaving the apex and picking up speed onto the next straight.
You really want to be on it before.
Yeah.
It obviously depends on the car, but
yeah, absolutely. So, and that's the same whether you're driving a K10 Corolla or a 650 Newton meter 6-speed X-Track rally car.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It takes
the same sort of principle.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I will say something about, I think a couple of you know that I've got Toyotas nowadays, and that kind of affinity with Toyota stays with me from back then, even though I'm a, Mitsubishi guy for sure. With that Corolla, I finished fourth in the junior rally series and you got promoted to the seniors. So you're now sort of outright state championship contender. But bear in mind, those rallies were map navigation and stuff. So it was all about going the right way and not getting bogged and
Lost.
all those sorts of things.
Right,
they were
right.
tough trials rather than rallies as we know them nowadays. So,
So-
you could be competitive in a low-powered car.
Yeah. So it was about, you have a start point and an end point, and you had to make your way.
That's right.
Sort
So they'd
of
give you
to
the
the-
instructions, which were grid references, and they'd have to plot the course on little outback two-wheel tracks and through farms.
Boggling my mind.
Yeah.
Like, we're sort of old enough now to remember having to use like Melways and stuff like
Yeah,
that. But,
yeah.
Street directories.
street directories.
That's how rallying was. Even when in the days when the Holden dealer team came to South Australia in the XU1 Tiranas, they got lost because they came off the maps. So and timing was to the whole minute, not to the second. So
Right.
you could be a long way behind fastest time and still get the same score.
Yes, of
in a little
course.
car.
You got a 60-second
Yep.
sort of
Window,
race
correct.
period. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
at least 59
Yeah,
seconds.
59, yeah.
And so what that meant was, as somebody, I came from a relatively poor family, and you could afford to compete because those were the rules. Really, there were people in their road cars competing.
Yeah, everyone could have a go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
made it very easy to get started. And so when I got promoted to seniors, I put 13-inch wheels on it to raise it even more because the rough stuff not getting bogged was so important.
Right.
So it had quite big wheels and tires. It looked like it was going to go in the Australian Safari or something. But the diff ratio was too tall. It then lost so much performance. And
Oh, sure, yeah.
it had its owner's manual in it. And there was an address in there you could write to Toyota in Japan.
Wow.
So I wrote to the customer service thing in there to say, I was rallying this little KU10 Corolla, and did they have any performance parts like a low ratio diff? And I'd worked out I needed a 4.6 to 1 diff to go with the big 13.
Yeah.
And I received back this package in one of those old kind of very Japanese brown envelopes with the string that goes around, two little things. And it had these brochures in there. Who knew that for KU10s they had a proper parts competition catalog like you'd get for a twin cam. Got all these twin Solexes and close ratio gearboxes and limited slip diffs and a 4.6. Sorry? Yeah.
That's so awesome. I think
Yeah. So
you'd think they'd have something like that.
and it came, now it's GR, it's the motorsports division.
Yeah.
Well, back then it was called Tosco, Toyota Sports Corner, Tosco.
Okay.
And there were some Tosco stickers to put on the car. And the 4.6 to 1 final drive was more than my whole Corolla cost. Because the exchange rate was horrendous with Japan in those days. So I wrote back to them saying, thank you. Really appreciate all information, but it's way too expensive for me to buy that final drive because I've only spent, less than that on building the whole car.
Yeah.
But I'll keep you posted on how I'm going with it. And thanks, for
Maybe
sending me
one
the stuff.
Maybe one day, yeah.
And weeks went by and I came home from teaching and there was a package on the front doorstep and they'd sent me the final drive free of charge.
That's incredible.
I know. It's incredible, isn't it? If that say Toyota or what?
Yeah, I know.
It stays with you for life, doesn't it?
I could see why you've continuously bought Toyotas. It's like
I was astonished. Yeah.
That's
You never. Yeah, it's like you Googling something now and being like, oh yeah, whatever, and then a company just sends you a package.
Yeah, I know.
Because you've looked into their parts.
And Toyota was trying to break into the Australian market in those days, of course. But what a lovely thing to do.
So those K10s, they were sold locally?
They were, yes. And the first 67, 68, they were full imports, and then they were built by AMI in Melbourne.
Okay.
So they were an Australian assembly, which became Toyota Australia.
Yes, of course.
So your 68, was yours an Aussie build?
No.
Yours
Japanese
a Japanese
one.
one. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is
a wild story.
And that bookends with, sorry to digress.
No.
It bookends with the end of my career when Mitsubishi withdrew from motorsport globally February 2005, and I was going to be turning 50 and had a wonderful career. And so they just, announced the end of motorsport globally at that time.
That was sad.
Yeah. Neil Bates from Toyota Australia, was running their motorsport and competing, great competitor. He rang me up. I'd never had a lot to do with Neil other than competing against him. And he said, was I free from my contract to come and do some testing in their cars? And they'd been struggling a bit against the Mitsubishis and the Subarus of that era. So I went and was doing testing with Neil in Canberra. He had Simon Evans as a driver, a really good competitor, and himself. And he was driving me home to the airport to fly back to Adelaide. And he said, are you missing, not competing? And I said, I'm missing that I would have made in July that year, 2005, would have been 30 years in the Australian Rally Championship for me. And I was, I'd been looking forward to that in the Evos. And he said, what did you start in 30 years? And I said, I was in my Toyota Corolla. He goes, a Corolla. He goes, he just thought about it. He goes, that's interesting. And he spoke to Toyota and said, would they put on a car for me to make 30 years? And he rang me up and said that they would, but they'd like to make it Corolla to Corolla and forget everything in between, in the 30-year story, which is pretty nice.
With a Corolla.
Yeah, Corolla, but they bookend. And, they put on a works car, and we've rounded up a KE10 that was still a rally car. And we did a story for Network 10 where I drove the KE10 with my original co-driver, Andrew, and then took him for a ride in the full spec current Toyota.
So it's a Corolla?
No,
these
were Sportiva, right? Like
they were kind of this was 2005, so they were kind of a Corolla of that model, the Sportiva model, but they had Celica GT4 running gear with a lot of modifications.
Oh wow, yeah.
They were allowed to build a car with kind of parity to the Evo and the Subaru.
Okay.
And that's why they'd had a little bit of trouble developing it. And I had been asked, Neil had nominated me, even when I was still driving the Mitsubishi, to do some parity driving for CAMs, which was approving their freedoms, because they kind of trusted me to do it. And it was done in a way that you couldn't really fudge it. They had us go to the test roads before a real rally. And when we'd finished testing and setting up our cars for the event, they were sealed as they were, so we couldn't change our cars. And then I had a drive of, did a run in my car, which was comparable to the runs I'd been doing on the test road. And then I had to go in the Toyota to see how far off it was. And the first few times it was slower, for sure. But so I'd do a bit of the parity driving. So I kind of had a little drive of their cars as well, which was kind of quite a privilege, albeit under controlled conditions. But, even then, Toyota stepped up there, 30 odd years later. And Neil Bates, of course, as a competitor to open the door to that. I feel like you with your friends buying another
laser.
You just never expect those things.
No.
And you asked me somewhere driving up today, what were the other people like in the sport, and that kind of says it all.
Absolutely, yeah. That's unbelievable. Got to ask you, like, I'll also just I know it's sticking with the Corolla. What was it like 30 years later getting back in the KE10? Like, was it just like
it was terrifying? It was. Andrew and I to do that together. My first year high school mate. We were just laughing so much driving it. It was surprise. It wasn't like just awful, but it was incredibly slow.
Yeah.
We thought, are we just misremembering or something? Because we used to think we were rocketing along. We were awesome in it.
It's the comparison of like what it was like then, right? And much newer car, and it's kind of like like how much time has taken out of that car too, right?
Yeah.
And also what you compare a rally car of that era to essentially a tin can.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just such a different world, right?
Yeah. And those four-wheel drive turbo cars, this doesn't matter how much time you spend in them, they still give you a rush when you drop the clutch and sidestep it, and you're just up through the dog box and into top gear, in a really short, and the braking was unbelievable by comparison. But it was a lovely thing to do, and Toyota had made a 30-year birthday cake to cut, little model Corolla on it. And,
that's cool.
All this kind of they took it to heart. I've got beautiful photo that they gave me of the Neil Bates car that I drove, which a privateer Martin Lintott was using in the New South Wales Championship, with an inset of my little K10.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, really nice.
That's really cool.
That would have been registered RRP 021.
That's the one, yes.
I just found a photo of it online.
Black and white photo, no doubt.
Yes.
Is that the K10?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
Yeah.
Well, you have to send that through, David.
Yeah,
I've got a lot to see that.
I love that. Like, it's stuff like that makes, like, for example, car companies, like, like we were talking yesterday about like, Subaru doing that whole kind of ad campaign about, they're going from a Brumby to working their way up. It shows that they still care.
Yeah.
And it shows that companies still have a say to say, oh, this person, let's do it for them, and that to me just blows me away.
Yeah, and for sure, Mitsubishi were wonderful to me as well. I'm not saying Mitsubishi were not like that. They were like that in bucket loads. And certainly, from knowing the Subaru guys, Cody Crocker in particular, Dean Herridge, Possumbourne, they've got wonderful stories there with Nick Senior from Subaru, who for many years, was at the top of the tree. But when I drove Subarus in the 1980s, the old RX Turbo, Nick was the guy getting Subaru into rallying back then, so Subaru gave me a wonderful opportunity to go from a privateer to a full-time level with those very early Subarus. Yeah, it wasn't a factory drive with Subaru, but they provided these because they were trying to get a foothold in the market well before WRX or Liberty RSs. To get their cars recognized in rallying. They had a turbocharged four-wheel drive 1.8 litre Subaru, and they brought 10 of them in the first batch and another 10 subsequently. But they were predominantly offered to the first and second place getters in each state championship. And Barry Lowe in South Australia got one, and I got one. And, that once you had a new car in on the ground floor with four-wheel drives and turbos, and I used mine in the state rally championship, and it won every single round of the state championship because nothing could see which way it had gone. It actually wasn't terribly powerful, but the traction was
the traction was next level, right? Yeah.
And these were pretty much factory cars, right? Like that.
They were off the showroom floor.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. You were allowed to change the springs and shocks.
Yeah. And you put a cage in it, and
fully caged, and all of that good suspension on it.
And this is like factory cooling, like
absolutely 100%.
Wow.
Yeah, even those cars, those 1985 Subaru RX turbos, there was a parts book like the K10 Corolla had, and so there was a proper motorsport performance kit for the engine. It was cylinder heads, cams, changing it from hydraulic lifters to solid lifters, so revved. Computer for the engine management system. The turbo stayed the same, but there were different fuel injectors. The solid lifters meant you had to shim the valves. And so you got a shim kit. So this whole engine performance package arrived, and they still might have only made. Look, I'd only be guessing, but it might have been 180 horsepower or something. They weren't hugely powerful. Yeah,
but it's early days.
Mass-produced
turbocharged engine. So it was it was a start of that sort of revolution.
Sure.
That's, and they won't. I mean, GM was making 7-litre V8s that made 140 horsepower or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's it was the start of it.
Yeah, the gearbox was the weak link on them, so that's been a Subaru.
That has been the joke still. They've lasted.
Yeah, but I fixed mine with fitting, not using low range. They were a dual range four-wheel drive, just like the station wagons and so on. So leave it in high range. And what none of us knew at the time with a turbo engine, of course, is that by leaving it in high range, you've got a much wider ratio gearbox, and therefore you stay on boost for longer.
Yes.
So the actual time on the stage improved in high range. You just automatically went, low range would be better because it's like having a low ratio diff. But it was faster in high range.
Yeah, there you go.
And also you lose the gearbox.
Yeah. The longevity of it too, right? So are those low and high range, the dual range gearbox, you could switch on the go. You didn't have to come to a stop to change them.
No, you had to stop.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, so you had to select low range, and then you had your normal 5-speed gearbox.
Yeah, okay.
So you couldn't change it mid-stage, but you just leave it in high range the whole time.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, well,
after breaking a couple of gearboxes.
Yeah,
right?
you figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Just Subaru things.
But Subaru had the good thing was you got the car and they had this incredible parts support as well. Yeah. So you were welcome to change gearboxes on if you liked.
So were they were called Legacies, right?
No, before then. What were they? David, you might know.
Leone, wasn't it?
Oh, Leone.
1.8 Leone. It's a non-turbo version. Those kind of boxy.
Yes.
Yeah, and they made a turbo four-wheel drive one.
That's cool.
Isn't it cool?
That's 80s cool.
That's
They had check like houndstooth seat upholstery.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the coolest.
Oh. So, all right. So, just backdating Subaru.
So much to talk about.
I know there's just
we keep getting like sidetracked.
Poor Scotty and Jim are just like just glued. Jump in, boys, any time, by the way. But like prior to getting a drive a Subaru, you had your kind of foot in with rotaries as well, right?
I did, yes. So that was with the Corolla. I thought I'd make the jump to something really powerful, and I looked for what's the fastest, cheapest car I could afford to buy. And it seems sacrilege to say it these days, but rotaries were worth nothing. They had zero resale value in the late 70s.
Why was that the case? Because the reliability.
It was ruined by reputation, but people weren't educated that they needed a proper warm-up procedure. And you shouldn't have to buy a car where you've got to think about warming it up properly. But that's what destroyed them. So in competition, the engines were very reliable. And could produce enormous power. And the interchangeability of parts, I bought RX2s because the resale value was so bad.
It's hard to think of an RX2 cheap.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You very young people on here. By cheap, I mean, people couldn't trade them in. The dealerships didn't want them back under any circumstances because they couldn't resell them because of the reputation. And that was because a lot of them, the seals failed, after 18 months or earlier. So I rang up, as you do, you've got to buy a fleet of cars like the one you're selling. There'd be, an RX2 coupe, highly regarded nowadays for, say, I remember the last one I bought was $400 advertised. And I rang the guy and he said, "Are you really coming out to see it?" And I said, "Yeah, my God, that was immaculate, but engine not running."
Yeah. And
I explained to him I wanted it for rallying and stuff. And he goes, "Look, no one's ever going to buy this of me. Just take it away. Just have it. If you're going to make use of it, just take it." It sounds
it's insane.
That's so highly valuable now.
I mean, Matty, you've had a couple of cars given to you.
Yeah.
None of them was that.
Nothing like that.
That was in the mid-north of South Australia. It'd been in a farm shed. The paintwork was beautiful. We used it as a body shell and put a 13B out of an RX4, and they were great. They were a fast car.
Story, but from the other side, I gave away an RX.
No, they were the cheapest car you could get, and they were fast. They were fast cars, even with the 12A engine in. But that 13B was a heck of an engine. And some people think rotaries don't have much torque because a lot of the race cars were peripheral porting, which is all about high revs, but you can tune them with side porting or extended port, which gives you big torque down low. So our rally engines they were dynoed by an engine builder in Kapunda in South Australia for Barry Lowe, a driver I mentioned earlier, and myself. They were sponsored engines from there, and on a reliable dyno, they were 250 horsepower.
Oh, naturally aspirated.
Yeah. Big downdraft IDA Weber carburetor, noisy as anything. They still had the brap idle.
The buzzing and then also the sound of the Webers.
Yeah.
That's a bit of you, Scotty.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And Scotty, I won my first outright national championship stages, not rallies, but you win one stage or two, but against the factory BDA Escorts and factory Nissan 710 Triple S's and Stanzas and things of that era in a rotary Mazda.
Yeah, that's so cool.
He was let down by the rest of the car, but the engine. That's the story of my career. I started something really small and low powered, and then I went the exact far way possible. And then, the car that really lifted my career was the Datsun 1600, which was in between, nowhere near as powerful as the rotary, but long travel suspension, beautiful engineering, great traction, and reliable as.
We're about to get to that because you own two of them.
Still, yes.
Yeah. And you've had them for quite a long time.
Yeah. So when I moved to Datsun 1600, I liked having. I'd got spoilt with the rotaries because you could buy them so cheaply that I had them as road cars as well. And it's a real advantage earlier in your career to be driving the car that you're rallying as well on the road, just from it feeling like it fits you so well.
Yeah.
So I bought a green 1968 model Datsun 1600 with the wipers that are crosshand, very early model, which the original owner had got arthritis, and it was in beautiful condition. I had that as my roadie while school teaching still. And then I started getting supplied cars and things. And it was just, they were worth more money than a rotary to sell, but I thought it was too nice a car to part with. And I very fortunately put it in the shed, and I've still got it now. But it hasn't been driven since then. But I want to bring it out one of these days because it's been shedded. It's in lovely condition. I bought a twin of that in the 80s thinking I might need spare parts one day, and that's the other one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you did it correct where you just, you bought the parts that you probably will need eventually, and you've also got that too. So.
And I've got something I must mention to you about rotaries. Maybe
absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I don't even know where we're going. I drove quite recently something which is pretty unique in the world to have a drive of nowadays, an original, with its original engine, NSU Row 80.
My goodness.
Which is a rotary European car, from 1967, 68. And
it's the first Wankel rotary engine, isn't
it?
Yeah.
And I drove it in Canberra with a guy called John Waterhouse, who's a New South Wales ACT champion rally driver, but he's run a rotary engine workshop called Reliance Rotary for many years. And it was a customer in Canberra brought it to him for servicing and really looked after it. John looked after it. He has rebuilt the original NSU, which is a peripheral port engine. And when that owner got too old, John bought it off him, and he's kept it immaculate and original. And there'd be very few on the road still anywhere in the world. Yeah.
So I have to say, if he's rebuilt it, do you reckon, obviously all the upgrades and technology that's come along with Mazda and I mean, Mazda made it reliable, inverted commas, but I think the people that made it reliable was the tuning community. So I'm assuming that if he would have rebuilt it, he probably would have put different seals and like your modern Apex seals and things that would have helped its reliability.
I think the issue with them was they had a 3-piece seal on it, and in cold start, the center one I think used to wear really badly, and then they'd fall out and wreck the whole engine. But NSU themselves, fixed that largely during its life. It was built and sold for at least another 6 or 7 years, I think, after it first came out. But he did say he had to get some parts made, for the engine when he rebuilt it. But it's a 3-speed, it's a semi-automatic or an automated manual. It has a, when you touch the gear lever, there's an actuator that operates a clutch.
Whoa!
Yeah, cool.
Is
90. Is it like a Sensonic?
Are you looking those up?
I am. Yeah, I really don't know anything.
If you check out the speeds and gears, 90. So when I drove it, John said to me, first gear while we're in the suburbs of Canberra, that's all you need. Like while you're under 60 k's, because it goes 90 in first, 130 in second, and then whatever it does,
it can do in third.
Yeah,
it's got one. You only need one gear. Like you don't really need anything.
Because they rev to 6.5 or 7,000. Like it's just like you're only going 5,000 RPM in first gear in the speed limit, but you can't hear the engine because it's so incredibly smooth. They're only a 1 litre rotary.
Oh, okay, right.
Peripheral ported, but not much torque down low.
Rear engine?
No, front engine.
Oh, out front.
So the car looks like an Audi 100 or something.
Very similar. Yeah.
And it's actually Volkswagen bought NSU and moved their cars into the Audi division, so they're the forerunner of all the aerodynamic Audis.
Yep.
So very aerodynamic, still an incredible looking car.
Yeah, they're very
nowadays.
Very interesting shaped thing.
Yeah. So I felt very privileged to have a drive of such a special car. John was pretty trusting.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and it was a hell of an experience. It probably meant more to someone I've mentioned a few times, my first co-driver, Andrew Hunter, when I met him in first year high school, which was 1968. I think the world car of the year was this NSU.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because it was so cutting edge, aerodynamic, and
Yeah.
long travel suspension. The engine, hangs out like those Audis, so in front of the gearbox.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So all of that kind of stuff, forward disc brakes, disc brakes, so inboard, so not, like,
Oh, right.
yeah,
Like Jag.
Like a Jag, yeah.
the front drive shafts. And I think it was like more than an E-Type Jaguar or something to buy. They were an expensive car.
Whoa.
So is that correct? Yeah.
Yes, they were very.
But I didn't realize they were that expensive. I didn't know they were super expensive. Wow.
Yeah. So when I met Andrew in 1968, he's more of a car guy than all of us put together in terms of the obscure knowledge. He's a car guy, not a driving guy.
Yeah.
And he will always, even currently, it doesn't matter what you say about a car. He'll go, yeah, but the 1967 model had the orange indicator that,
Yeah.
he knows all that stuff. And
I love that.
he would his dream car when we were in first year high school was the NSU Row 80.
Oh, give me that.
And we've never talked about them since.
Yeah.
Never thinking we'd even ever see one, So when I was in Canberra, I just took a photo of John's and just sent it to him going, I drove this today, and he rang back straight away. What? He goes,
What?
Yeah. So I quickly told him, and he goes, it's got the wrong headlights. It's it. So I say to John, I'm just going to put him on speaker. He's saying your NSU's got the wrong headlights. This is my mate. I'm sorry, John. He says it's the wrong headlights. And Andrew goes, yeah, they should have, rectangular headlights, and you've got 4 round headlights. And John goes, can I speak to it? So how good is this? There's John Waterhouse. He's 70. He's never met Andrew. I hand my phone. Off they go. He's like 10 or 15 minutes talking. NSUs.
To someone he hasn't even met before.
Yeah. Off. He's gone for a walk.
Commonality is the car.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
And, Andrew was delighted that they're talking NSUs for 15 minutes. They were the wrong No, John had changed them himself. He said these rectangular headlights, when he had it out in the dark, was so bad.
Rubbish.
He bought, the US spec round one, which is
yeah,
how Andrew
yeah.
picked it.
Yep.
He wanted to know how Andrew picked it.
Oh, there
And
you
that
go.
was, yeah. And he still had the rectangular one somewhere,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
yeah.
so cool.
I love hearing that stuff like that. So
Yeah. Do look up those younger generation people here. Do look up an NSU8. It was quite a significant car in the whole VW Audi group development from then on.
it's an important car in history, to be fair.
In
Like,
history,
it's the first rotary that lots of tech. Obviously it won every of the year award that it was
Yes.
pretty much in. But it just had issues.
And it was fast, and they used fuel like rotaries do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
and that whole oil crisis hit in the early 70s as well. So
They
the
would have
timing
really
was
taken it.
terrible.
Terrible. Yeah.
It's weird that you brought up like NSUs today, because I've only really just learned about them today. I was watching a video earlier today about there's a YouTube channel called Haggerty, and they brought out a video about the Audi TT.
Yeah.
And
Jason
he
Camisa.
touched Jason Camisa,
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
and he touched on the NSU cars because they were all obviously acquired by the Volkswagen group.
Yep.
And it's like NSU, like that rings a bell. Like I've heard it in the past, but then I really didn't really think about it. And then now you started talking about it.
Yeah.
It's just a weird
It's
circle.
strange when that happens.
Today.
Yeah. Because I think it was Auto Union as well,
Yeah.
NSU, and that's kind of, I think that's what it all comes from.
That's cool.
DKW and some other obscure German company formed Audi basically through Volkswagen.
That's where the four rings equal the four, like one of the 4 companies, right? So yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I've kind of got that right, I think, David. Yeah.
Yeah. So DKW, NSU, Auto Union, and there was another one I can never remember it. Getting old, Ed.
Yeah.
And this is
But they're the
pre-Volkswagen ownership of Audi, is it?
no, sort of Volkswagen amalgamated them all together.
Yeah.
Oh,
And created Audi
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
out
Right.
of those sub brands.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. So cool.
That wraps up part 1 of our 2-part episode with Ed Ordynski. Tune in next week for the final chapter of the conversation. See you then.